In this video, we will be doing a lower body follow along stretching routine. You will not need any equipment, but make sure to find a nice open space. For the best results, I suggest you do the stretching routine after a warm-up or a workout. We're going to start with gentle stretches and progressively get more intense, so make sure to stay the entire video to release the most tension. For our first stretch, you're going to lay flat on your back and then grab one of your knees and pull that leg in towards your chest to really open your hips. Now you're going to pull the leg out to the side. Make sure that knee is pointed towards your diagonal. Now switch to the other side, grab that knee and pull in nice and tight. Release that tension in the hips. Pull it out to that side. Also make sure your bum stays on the ground. Now you're going to bring both knees in and give them a nice big hug. So for our next stretch, place your feet flat on the ground, bring one leg on top of your other knee, pushing that leg away, and then reach through your legs and grab behind your bottom leg and pull in as close as you can. You should feel the stretch in your glutes. Okay, now gently set that leg down, place the other foot on top of the other knee, push that leg away, reach through your legs, and grab that back leg to pull in. Make sure that you're breathing through this stretch and really bringing that oxygen to that lower body. All right, relax. We are going to come back up and set one leg forward. Then we're going to bring our chest up, bend our front leg, and push our hips forward and down. We're just doing a low lunge position, working on really opening that back quad and your hip flexors. As you're doing this, think about tucking your tail a little bit, and that'll make the stretch a little bit more intense. Now switch your legs, bend the front leg, push your hips forward and down, and remember to get a little bit extra of a extension in that back leg to tuck the tail and really open that quad and hip flexor on the back leg. All right, now what you're going to do is set one foot off to the side of your bum, not underneath your bum, and you're going to gently come back to your elbows if you can. If you already feel too much of a stretch in that quad, you can stay up on your hands, but you can go down to your elbows, and if that's not deep enough of a stretch, you can also lay down on your back, but this is to help lengthen and open that quad and hip flexors again. To make that stretch deeper, again, make sure you're tucking the tail. Think about getting your lower back towards the ground. Okay, now come out and bring that other foot to the side of your bum, not underneath your bum. And you can stay on your hands, or you can go down to your elbows, or to make it a little bit more intense, all the way to your back. It's very difficult to get your lower back to the ground completely, but if you think about it, it'll really help lengthen that muscle and release that tension. Okay, now you're gonna bring both legs forward into a pike position. And you're gonna start with the flat back and then curl forward, trying to get that nose towards the knees. But also as you're doing this, think about getting your head, the top of your head, towards your toes. You wanna be lengthening and then also crunching down. If you're only crunching down, you're limiting that space in your spine that you need. All right, now you're gonna come out of that pike and go up into downward dog. So you're on your hands and feet, your hips are high in the air. You're just gonna walk out those legs. You should feel the stretch in your calves and your hamstrings, maybe a little bit of your Achilles, to really release that tension. So just gently walk one leg at a time, switching back and forth. Open those shoulders. This is adding to an upper body stretch, but really focus on the lower body right now. All right, come back down, sit on your bum, and bring your legs forward. We're gonna make a diamond shape with our legs, and then we're going to again have that nice flat back and then curl forward, making sure we're pulling our head towards our feet instead of crunching towards our hips. We want a long spine as much as possible. This diamond shape really focuses on those rotators in your hips. So really open that rotator and pull those knees towards the ground as much as possible. Now we're gonna pull our feet in closer and we're gonna go to butterfly. So now our feet are as close as we can towards our hips, still trying to get our knees close to the ground as much as possible, and having that long flat back and then curling forward. Try to see if you can get your head past your toes. All right, come on out. Now we're gonna get into our pigeon pose. So you're gonna bend one leg forward. You're gonna make sure your back knee is on top of the ground, and you're thinking about pulling your belly button to face forward. To get a deeper stretch, you can have your chest up while you do this, or if you need a little bit deeper of a stretch, you can lay forward. Instead of having your foot closer to your legs, try to bring that foot further out into more of like a 90-degree angle. The bigger the angle, the more of a stretch you will get in your glutes and the side of your leg. I'm pretty tight in this area, so I'm going to keep my foot close, but you are more than welcome to open that angle up. Okay, now we're going to switch sides. So our other leg is bent in front of us, and you can pull that foot away from you a little bit, open the angle if you need a deeper stretch. Just make sure you keep that back knee on the ground. Make sure you're still facing everything forward, not trying to sit too much on that one side. So now we're going to come back up on our knees and set one leg forward. This time that front leg is straight. It's almost like you're in a split position, but your hips are high, and you're going to have that nice flat back and fall forward towards your leg as much as you can. But we're focusing on that front leg, stretching out the hamstrings and all that. So right now our toes are on the ground, but we are now going to flex our foot up towards the sky, and now you should feel the stretch a little bit lower in your calf. Make sure you're pulling that back hip forward so that your hips aren't turned to the side. You will definitely feel a deeper stretch if you are doing this. All right, come on out. So now we're gonna pull that other leg forward nice and straight and lay forward, lengthen that back, and try to bring that nose towards the knee or even past the knee so that we're nice and long. Remember that back hip, try to pull it forward so that you are not turning out your hips. Now we're going to flex our toes up to the sky to feel that stretch in the calves. Okay, gently come out, and now we are going to bend our front leg and pick our back knee up off of the ground so we are in a high lunge. And we're gonna keep our chest on that front leg and hands on the ground. And I like to rock forward and back just to kind of loosen everything up. But if you need a deeper stretch, then make sure to try this with your chest up. That'll really push those hips down and open up that quad and hips. All right, now switch to the other side. Bend that front leg, straighten that back leg, make sure the knee is off the ground and you're thinking about pushing those hips low towards the ground. Come on out. Now we're going to come up onto our feet and we are going to try to balance on one foot. You're gonna reach behind, grab one of your legs with one hand and then with the other. And right here, you're thinking about tucking your tail, pulling your hips forward while you pull that knee back so that you're lengthening that quad and hip. This will really open up that front body. Now switch sides, grab that other foot, find your balance. Think about pulling the knee back and the hips forward keep a tight core. I find that it helps me if I stare at something on the floor, something that's stationary. So the next thing we're going to do is release the tension that you have on the very top of your foot. So you're going to again find your balance and you're going to tuck your toes. Think about like a ballerina dancer. You're going to tuck your toes, putting more of the knuckles of your foot on the ground rather than your actual toes. And you're pushing that ankle straight forward. Make sure it's not going out to the sides. Switch legs, and you're really just trying to lengthen the front of that foot. Lots of people only think to release the calf and do calf stretches, but we also do hold a little bit of tension in the front of the foot as well, so this stretch will really help with that. And come out. So now we're gonna lunge back to get a good calf stretch and Achilles stretch. So we're just gonna lunge right now, putting that back foot as far back as you can get it with keeping your heel on the ground. You should feel it in your calf right now. Make sure that back leg is nice and straight. And now we're going to try to bend that back leg a little bit. It won't bend very much, but just a little bit, pulling that back knee forwards. Now you should feel the stretch a little bit lower in your Achilles. We're gonna switch sides, step that new foot back, and make sure that heel is on the ground. And now we're going to bend that back knee, pull the knee forward, but keep the heel on the ground so we can feel it in the Achilles. It's crazy how just one little movement can change where you feel it. So the next stretch we're going to do is a pike again, but this time we are standing. I've learned that sitting in our pike stretch is a little bit more gentle, and standing is a little bit more intense. That's why we're doing it towards the end of our stretch. But the standing version really helps us lengthen that spine and pull our head towards our feet. Try to reach your hands as far as you can down either your legs, your shins, or if you can touch the ground, maybe try to go from fingertips to palms. If you can touch the ground with your palms, maybe start reaching your hands back behind your feet. Okay, come out. And our final stretch we're going to do is a horse squat. So you're going to kind of straddle your legs out a little bit and then bend your legs and bring your hips towards the ground. The goal here is to keep a nice open flat chest. You're not curling forward or leaning forward. And we're thinking about pulling our knees backwards so that our knees are kind of over our toes instead of in front of us. This just really opens your hips and adductors. An additional stretch you can try is an Asian squat. Now, I really struggle with these. It's because of my ankle flexibility. I do not have very flexible ankles, so I'm only able to go like as if I was sitting in a low chair. This almost strengthens my ankles more than stretches them, but it's still good in both ways. And as you can see, my husband is much better at this position than I am. But if you are unable to get your bum towards your heels, then just be here with me, sitting in our low chair, trying to keep that chest up. Thanks for doing these lower body stretches with me. If one of your goals is to get your splits, then make sure to check out this video right here and subscribe to our channel for more upcoming stretching videos.